I am Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that are happening right here in this community, and today will be no different. From time to time, we like to focus the light on education, one of my favorite topics. And when we want to do something like that, we want to make sure that we cover all the bases that could be covered. So I'm delighted this afternoon to have this opportunity to have a conversation with Dr. Earnest Davis. He is the Executive Director and President of the North Alabama Center for Educational Excellence. Is President or CEO? Did I get that right?
Both. You're right. Correct.
All right.
NR. Depending. Right. You're correct.
Depending on what's going on. Always good to see you, my friend. How you doing, man?
Good, my friend. Good to see you again, too.
Yes,
Always.
sir. Because every time you're here and every time we get a chance to talk, there's a lot of energy and a lot of good ideas being exchanged.
Yes.
And we're going to do some of that today. Let's start at the beginning. As we always do, tell us what the North Alabama Center for Educational Excellence is.
Again, thank you again, Ken, for inviting me. The North Alabama Center for Educational Excellence is a 501(c)(3). It's a nonprofit organization. We were started in 1974, established. We're a college prep consortium, meaning that we serve students who actually are funded to actually area college in 14 counties in North Alabama. And that could be all your college from the, I guess, north of Jefferson County, all the way to the tip top of actually Madison County.
Yeah, it's a big population of people to work with, and a lot of energy and a lot of important work being done because we talk a lot in our society today, as we probably always have, the value of education and the fact that we want our young people to do their best, and there are things that they need to keep in mind in order to do that. What would you say are, like, maybe if you had to talk to a group of starting students, I'm going way back, let's take them in first, second grade and say, we know that their cognitive skills are still developing, but you have a chance to say to them, kids, here's some things that you're going to need to know as you move forward through at least the first 12 years of your journey. What would you say to those kids?
One of the first things I would say for a parent or either for someone who's observing kids is find out what their interests are. If they like playing with a laptop, playing with an iPad, observe those skills, because those skills can actually be one day become their career. So there's a lot in terms of actually observing what you like to do, where you like to work and take loose things. We used to have what we call actually different logos and all, and put those back together. That could possibly be an engineer one day. You like writing, you like actually spelling. Again, that could be an English professor one day. So start crafting your kids very early on. It would lend to let you know exactly what their interests are or what their interests could become.
What would you say to kids who, and even parents again, who come across tough situations? There's a class that they are having a little trouble with, or maybe there's a teacher that they feel like they're kind of bumping heads with. What would you say to that person? 99%
of the time, some student will face that in some family. First thing you do, you open communication with your teacher, of course. If not the teacher, then actually administrator within that school, such as your assistant principal or principals, because that's extremely important. Everything should stop there at that particular school. I don't think you should go further. If there need to go further, then of course you would take it to the central office where your superintendent and your various department heads are. But try to nip it in the bud there in your schools, because if that's the interaction your child will have contact with, and that's contact that you should have contact with, whether elementary school, middle school, or high school.
And don't ignore the challenge, whatever that challenge might be. I know that one of my biggest challenges in school became math. I'm not sure where it happened. It was maybe, I'm saying maybe 6th, 7th grade when I started realizing I was having some trouble with math. And to run from math is not the answer. You got to figure out how to, you know, as they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly right, yes.
You really got to break that thing down into some manageable parts, and the reality is over time you'll get it done.
You will get it done. But we have an excellent group of staff persons who are actually working our academic support areas, which we call tutors or academic tutors, and they actually break it down very, very plain, very simple that any student can pick it up. And there is no dumb student, so to speak, or there are no extremely smart student. All students can learn. They have the brains, they have the 2 years, and they can speak and listen.
You know, one of the things, and I'm glad you mentioned tutors, because when I think about the academic landscape, I'm always saying to people, have you gone to see a tutor? And they'll kind of look at you almost like you're the two-headed monster. It's like, tutor? What do I need a tutor for? Or almost as if to say, tutors? Who are they? Tutors to me are fundamental to academic success. I remember at the college level, I worked as a psychology tutor for a couple of years or so, maybe even longer than that. And I remember the engagement that I had with students and the reality that everybody doesn't learn the same and everybody doesn't learn at the same speed. And some things are more difficult than some people and others, but I think being honest about the need is where it begins. If you need help, get help.
I agree with you. Hit the nail on the head, Kenny. What a tutor does, he picks out what type of learning style you have. And once he determines what type of learning style you have, that's where he horn in terms of how do you reach that particular student, whether it's math, whether it's English, whether it's writing, whether it's history, earth science, so on and so forth. That's extremely important. Tutors still have a bad name, meaning actually it's it's really not a sub piece, it's actually what you call academic. You want A's, find a tutor. Some of the most smartest student, whether you're at Harvard or at Yale, they get a tutor. You may call them an academic support personnel, or you may call them an academic honors person, but they're still tutors.
Yeah,
in that sense, right?
Peer counselor. I mean, call them what you want.
Call them coaches nowadays, whatever. They're still tutors, right? Just come on a different name with the same description, right?
That's right. And,
yes,
and we want the same ultimate results because we want people to be successful.
Exactly right.
In that process.
That's exactly. We're at North Alabama Center for Education. Offer that service for free for grades, middle school, high school, and of course the college students. Come in and actually sign up with our counselor. You can sit on any of those sections during the day. We're open from Monday through Friday. Our weekdays have actually started as early as 8 o'clock. We end at 5. Tuesdays and Thursdays we end at 5. Mondays and Wednesdays we end at 7. So actually pretty much there. And we do a lot of boot camps too on Saturday morning.
Oh,
that's
wow.
your ACT boot camp, SAT, sometimes math boot camps, the whole work. Whichever we find is the need in that particular students or groups of students that need that services.
So we are an acronym-laden town and society. And you just mentioned two that are very familiar to people in the academic world, SAT, ACT.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that process as a necessary, I won't call it a necessary evil, but a necessary preparatory process for students, because I think that that's something that we sometimes really engage students with late in the process. And it's like they know they got to do it, so now they're desperate to do it. The ones that are struggling, but the ones that are going to cut through the ice as smoothly as possible, have no problem whatsoever, they don't have that same burden. What is that process? What does it mean to the student's success? And then talk specifically about what's a good score, and also what happens if they don't do well the first time they take it.
Sure, which ACT is American College Testing. And basically what that means, that's your ticket to college. Honestly, your ticket to college was a 2-year or 4-year college. Generally, actually, you should start making prep for that test in middle school. We mentioned earlier about math, you mentioned about English and all. You start at a particular time and starting crafting your child in terms of for math skills, English skills, writing skills, and so forth, because the fact is actually just it's moved to the next notch as you move up the ladder toward high school. By the time you're in 9th grade, and I do have 8th grade and 9th grade who are now taking the ACT and making something like 21 on the test, and that's great for 8th and 9th grade, but there are some requirements for the ACT test, and sometimes parents say, can I put my child in the ACT test? Some of the requirements, your child needs to be at least enrolled in an honor English by 11th grade, or at least English by 11th grade. You need to at least have taken actually pre-cal or either algebra trig, either or. So actually, those are tests that actually we find on the ACT math test, and actually need to know how to take time tests. You got 2 tests that are 35 minutes. You got a test that's 30 minutes, and the math test itself is 60 minutes. It equates to 1 question per minute. So actually, you got to come with a body of knowledge of math in order to solve that. Whether you got a calculator or not, you have only 1 minute for each question on the math test.
But that time process is something you got to manage.
You got to. It's so important because, in fact, most parents don't understand how key that is in terms of getting you into your college choice, how key it is to getting scholarships. We got a deadline coming, which is December the 1st at traditional 4-year college. Most ACT scores should be in. The last group that took that test in October, 2 weeks ago, should actually have those scores within the next week or so. So actually, you're ready to compete with your colleagues all over the world.
Right. And you mentioned scholarships, of course. That's probably the mother lode when you talk about academic success today. You talk about kids trying to go to college. College is expensive. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-year, 4-year school. Of course, there are some benefits from the 2-year school from the financial perspective that can help get them rooted and grounded. Can certainly give them an environment and a culture that they can actually achieve success as they move on to perhaps a 4-year school. And then some are going to dive right in head first to the 4-year school. But in order to make it from enrollment to graduation, you're going to need money to do that. Talk about scholarships.
Sure, be happy to. When we talk about scholarship, let's back up just a little bit and talk about the Fafsa. You're very familiar with the Fafsa. It's a student aid report you fill out. It's for free, which is put out by the Department of Education. You fill that out. Once you fill it out and complete it out, it prepares you for actually Pell Grant if you're eligible based on income. Second, prepares you for work study within the college environment. Third time is in value what you call in terms of there's 2 types of Teach Grant, and there's also one for military if your parents was was killed in one of the wars, did they actually get a chance to go for a low percentage in terms of like for free, which is called Afghanistan, Iraq. Scholarship, I believe. The last one, of course, is scholarships, which is actually all that across the board. You fill out the FAFSA, all that's taken care of. So it don't necessarily mean you got to be poor or you got to be low income to fill out a FAFSA. Anyone from Yale to actually Calhoun Community College need to fill out the FAFSA.
Right.
The FAFSA will set you up for financial aid, show you exactly how you're going to pay for your education. In that sense, right?
Okay.
And you mentioned one earlier too that overlooked by most parents. We're here in Huntsville, and we have actually a network of colleges, and we forget there's 2-year colleges. There's Drake, there's Calhoun. This is a great way to start to get the first 2 years out of the way. Transfer to any college that you want to in the United States. You got your first 2 years out of the way, or you got your junior and senior year left.
Yeah.
And you can save a tremendous amount of money. Our parents could pay out of their pocket to attend a community college.
About $400, $500 per course?
Per course is exactly right.
I mean,
that's for sure.
Kind of get your feet wet.
And actually help you understand, actually in terms of the next level of life, college is very serious. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment in your career.
Yeah,
exactly
I mean,
right.
It's something that every parent should look at. I think that some people have the idea that they're going to go right to that 4-year school.
Exactly
and that's fine if that's what you want to do.
Right.
But I think when you have a world of options, and
Yes.
some of those options happen to be good options, it kind of goes back to something you said earlier about parents should really know their children's learning styles.
Yes, very
Just
important.
like the academic person needs to know the child's learning style.
Right.
Your parents should kind of know something about that too, and you need to be honest about it. You
That's
need
the
to
key.
say, yeah,
That's
you need
the
to say, listen, I want my child to be everything that they can be, and I hope they will be, but I know my child is struggling in this area.
Right.
Maybe they don't concentrate as well. Maybe they don't have good study skills.
Right.
Maybe they need to have a smaller teacher-student ratio.
Yes.
You need to assess those things as much as you assess anything else.
That is so important because actually that could be actually a detriment to your child as they couldn't continue, they rolled up to college in that sense. Find out early on, get help. There's plenty of help out there. Most time it's free help within a public school system. Once you help, you pretty much get that child onto trajectory where they're ready to do well in high school. They'll become some of your smart scholars once they finish.
That's right. What's the minimum ATC score for ACT score for a person who wants to get a scholarship?
Once a scholarship, we talked about that Ken a little bit early on. 26 that I always recommend. 26 will get you pretty much into UH. Or 19 will get you in at Alabama A&M University. 17 will get you in at Calhoun, and probably actually some lower about 16 will get you in at Drake. It goes up a little bit when actually you go outside of the state. When you start talking Georgia Tech, you talk about possibly 30. You talk about Yale, another at least a 30 plus. Nothing below 30. Harvard, 30 plus. Most times you compete with the students who have maxed out with the 36. Alabama is actually pretty much still right around 24, 26. Auburn still is 26. You won't get the maximum scholarship, but you get probably about a good 50% of scholarship because scholarships are dollars that actually funders of that university provide for their students, right? So you still got to come out of pocket for loans. There's a low interest rate, which I mentioned earlier by filling out the FAFSA, right? Or money that your grandmom or grandparents have put aside for you to go to school on, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's all in play.
There's a play, right?
In that
Exactly.
process.
Right. Yes. Right.
Dr. Davis, it's always great talking to you, and of course I like people to know exactly how they can go to the source to get more information about services that you provide, which again, you've got a whole list of things. We haven't had a chance to talk about everything,
yes, sir.
But you got a ton of academic services, and if people want more information, how could they go about getting that information?
Sure. Our phone number is 256-372-4600. Our website is www.nacee.net. So you can anytime, 24 hours, just active. Send us something over the web, or either call us and leave a message. We'll definitely return it.
All right, and I mean conveniently located, great staff, available to serve and provide, with a diverse experience base.
Yes.
And so if somebody has a need to succeed as it relates to their academics, you got an answer for them.
We got an answer for them. We have had some of the most tremendous, what you call success story of kids, actually, which I mentioned earlier, have gone to Harvard. Kids have gone to Princeton. Kids have gone to Georgia Tech. Students have completed Calhoun, completed Drake, and done an excellent life. They come back and tell you, thank you for giving me an access. That's that ray of hope saying that I can do.
That's good.
That's where we get our gratification from.
That's good. That's good. That's not just good, it's great.
Yes.
And it's why the North Alabama Center for Educational Excellence is a beacon of light in our community. And thank you for all that you do in terms of your leadership.
Thank you.
And the support team that you have working with you.
Yes.
And come back and see us anytime.
I look forward to it. Looking forward to come back again.
All right.
Thank you as always.
All right.
Sure.
Dr. Earnest Davis, he's Executive Director, of the North Alabama Center for Educational Excellence. I'll give him CEO too, because he's running the show. He's taking care of business over there.
Right.
He's making sure that good things are done
That's right.
in good places.
Yes,
so
indeed.
we thank him for being a part of our show. And we hope that you've learned a lot today about this important and valuable organization to our community. We hope you'll reach out to them to be able to find out more information by calling their phone number or contacting them through their web portal. We hope that you also enjoyed all the information that we had to show you today on this show, but you can also check it out one more time on our Facebook page, which is Impact with Kenny Anderson, where you can see this show as well as what happens once the camera stops rolling. For Impact, I'm Kenny Anderson. Have a great day.